So now let's talk about the first topic for this particular chapter is ISA 200. What is the objective of an auditor? What are the audit objectives? So what is the objective of an audit? If to explain in a simple language, the objective of an audit or an auditor is to provide an audit opinion. Now the audit opinion can be an unmodified opinion at the same time, or it can be a modified opinion as well. He is not there to ensure that the financial statements are free from material misstatements. He is there to review the financial statements and give an opinion on the financial statement. That's it. His objective is to get an opinion on the financial statement. If there are material misstatements, he is there to identify the misstatements and give an appropriate opinion and advise the client that this is a mistake, you have to rectify, of course. So his objective is not to ensure that the financial statements are perfect or are in fact free from material misstatement. His objective is very simple: to identify misstatements in the financial statement, advise the client and give an opinion. If the client is not willing to make changes to the financial statement, he will give a modified opinion. If the client is willing to make the changes and they have made the changes, he will give an unmodified opinion. So the overall objective as per ISA 200 says that for the auditor is to conduct an audit and assurance engagement with respect to the international standards on auditing. Right. So based on the international standards of auditing, what we will do? He will conduct an audit engagement on the financial statements of a company. And he will give what? Reasonable assurance. He will obtain a reasonable assurance whether the financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatement. Material misstatement could be due to fraud or error, which will help him to give an opinion. And whether the financial statements are prepared as per the applicable financial reporting framework. So many students, they get confused when they say what is the auditor's opinion to ensure that the financial statements are free from material misstatement. It's not his duty to ensure the financial statements are free from material misstatement. It is the management's responsibility, and it is very clearly written in the engagement letter. It is very clearly written in the preconditions of the audit that the management has to prepare the financial statements free from material misstatement. What we are doing, we are reviewing the financial statements and trying to identify the misstatements and form an opinion. So our objective as an auditor is to just express an opinion on the financial statement, whether they are free from material misstatement and they have followed the applicable financial reporting framework or not. Once you have formed an opinion, the next objective is to report and communicate. Report and communicate to whom? To the relevant user. It could who have appointed you. It could be your shareholders. It could be the management. It could be those charged with governance that we have identified this mistake. Here are the mistakes. And this is required by ISA in accordance with the auditor's findings. So whatever findings you have identified, you will not just give an opinion, a report stating that this is your audit opinion, but at the same time, you will give a details about this to the relevant users and stakeholders, shareholders. So ISA 200 states that the key requirements that for an auditor to obtain reasonable assurance and to express an opinion are: number one, ethics, which means you have to comply with the relevant ethical requirements. Professional skepticism. What is professional skepticism? Having a questioning mind. You plan and perform an audit with professional skepticism, which means be alert to the situations and circumstances and question the client whenever possible, and be mentally prepared that there could be instances where you have to be careful and approach it, etc. Exercise professional judgment in planning and performing the audit. Sufficient appropriate audit evidence and audit risk. Obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to reduce the risk to acceptably low level, etc. So ISA 200 to summarize this very clearly says that you need to maintain ethics. Why you need to maintain ethics? Because a person only with high amount of integrity and ethical practices will identify the risk and conduct the audit in a ethical manner. Second, professional skepticism, because identifying a risk involves a lot of questions, asking, reviewing a lot of documents, reviewing the data of the client, talking to the client and understanding what the business they do, thinking far ahead, like, okay, you know what, tomorrow it could be coming as a risk to us, etc. Looking at the transactions of the audit. So a lot of things involves. So when you plan for an audit, definitely professional skepticism have to be maintained throughout the period of the audit. But when you're identifying a risk or when you're giving an opinion, it's definitely you have to exercise professional skepticism in a much more heavier manner. And professional judgment, planning stage is all about judgment. Right, you will plan that you will be able to finish it in this time. This will be the team. This is what is based on the risk. Okay, this is what the number of team members we need, etc. And then if you feel that the company is having a high risk category, you're putting into them in a high risk category, you obtain X amount of evidences to reduce the risk to a lower level. But to obtain how many number of documents is also depends upon professional judgment. Is it enough? Will this coming to a conclusion stating that this is enough to substantiate the risk of the audit, then that itself is a professional judgment. So one of the major important aspect for an auditor to express his audit opinion is managing his audit risk. So therefore it becomes very central to audit planning and risk assessment. So now that we have learned what is the objective, let's go to the next topic, which is planning. Like, understand what is planning of an audit means.